All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin. This is going to be a mad Chelsea news show, which will cover a few of the non-Chelsea stuff as well. I mean, predominantly will be Chelsea stuff, but we have to talk about Messi a little bit, not too much. We have a surprise with Ameya later on about the whole Messi thing, so we won't get too deep into it. But obviously, is it coming home or is it coming Rome? We'll talk a little bit about that. The whole Jorginho Rice, clashing, two worlds clashing, two philosophies clashing. We'll see how that goes. But before all of that, live chat, thank you so much. Like always, you guys have been mad. The growth in this channel has been really, really good. We're on track for 6,000. We're only probably about 500 away from 6,000. So please, if you're here for the first time, subscribe. And like all the time, thank you heaps for supporting. And I hope you enjoy this stream. First of all, Ameya, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Copa America timings was early morning, and now the Euros is late night. So it's a bit of a hectic day for me when it comes to football. But talking Chelsea with you guys is something that I was looking forward to, especially because the last couple of weeks the three of us couldn't be there together. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully it's a great stream and the live chat enjoys it as well.
Brilliant. Kishan, I do not want to hear that it's coming home. It is only going to Rome. How you doing, my boy?
It's coming home. I'm good as well. Like Ameya said, it's the first time that the three of us have been together for like a few weeks, so that's good.
Yeah.
But it's almost weird talking about Chelsea right now with the whole big final coming up like in a few hours. So, but it'd be good to take the mind off that.
100%. John Baker. I mean, if there was ever an English name, like John Baker has to be it. It's coming home, it's coming home. Look, I mean, we'll definitely talk a little bit about the match. And I just want to give you guys a bit of a heads up. Straight after the match, I will hold a review. So hopefully you guys can smash the notification button. As soon as the match is over, do tune in. It's going to be a mad, whichever way it goes. It's either going to be Mason Mount, Reece James, Chilwell, the Chelsea sort of trio that's going to be lifting it, or it's going to be Emerson or Jorginho. Either way, it's going to be mad. So the review is going to be, for me, win-win situation. I mean, I do probably want Italy to win. I'm not going to hide the fact that...
You forgot Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah, the other Chelsea player. Yes, of course. The main Chelsea player, Declan Rice as well. But it's gonna be mad. Obviously, talking about that game. But first of all, we have so many things to talk about. Obviously, you guys would have seen the title, the thumbnail, and whatnot. Shout out to Matthew, the guy who's doing my thumbnails as well, guys. Please check out his socials in the description. Follow him. He's absolutely doing some madness with these thumbnails. But Ameya, let's get the show rock and rolling. Let's talk about Kurt Zouma. Apparently, Roma and our bad boy Jose Mourinho. Let's not beat around the bush one bit. He's an absolute, he loves Kurt Zouma. There's that video which we all know how he says, Zouma. Zouma. I mean, what else do you want? You have Kurt Zouma. What do you think? I mean, is this possible? I'm not really sure where the source is coming from, but we've all known that he's on the outer, like he's not really fancied by Thomas Tuchel. And this link kind of makes sense because apparently Jose Mourinho is sacking 8 starters from the Roma team. So he's already not in the greatest books to start off with. So does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think the 8 players, he hasn't even called them up for preseason training. So, I mean, honestly, that's a little bit harsh in my opinion. But, it's Jose, right? And who can argue with that? He always has that treble with Inter Milan and the Champions League with Porto to always, come on to say that. You remember this video, right? 3 times, I've won it 3 times.
Yeah.
That just describes...
Respect.
That just embodies Jose Mourinho perfectly, and we know that he's a huge fan of Zouma. I think Zouma was honestly one of the most highly rated young centre backs back when Jose Mourinho was at the club. And it's unfortunate to see the injury and all of that stuff. But it's good that he's got back to his feet. It's good that he's getting, well, not regular game time now under Thomas Tuchel, but under Frank Lampard, Zouma and Thiago Silva was our go-to centre-back partnership. So it's good to see that, he has that. But like you mentioned, right, out of all the defenders that we have at the club at the moment, Kurt Zouma seems the most likely to leave. And especially with, links, we're linked to Varane. I know United seem to be more advanced in Varane, but our name's also been thrown around a couple of times. Tapsoba is another name. So I think that we are looking at options. Maybe, I'm not quite sure if we'll sign a centre-back, even if we let go of Zouma, honestly. But it wouldn't surprise me too much. But I would hope that it's a cash straight-up deal. I can't do another loan or a loan with an option to buy. And I know the rumor is actually loan with an option to buy. That's what the rumor says. But hopefully we can get cash straight up. But honestly, it does not surprise me one bit. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he left the club, in all honesty. I mean, thanks for the memories, but, it doesn't surprise me. So it's not that I'm saying that I want him out of the club. But
you don't want anyone out of the club, bro. If it was up to you, you keep the whole lot. You do not want anyone going out of this club.
I mean, see, I know eventually, obviously, some players are going to leave, right? Like we're seeing now with even Giroud, for example. So they are going to leave eventually. So which is why I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me if Zouma left. And I think it could materialize. And I definitely think that he's going to leave this summer, actually.
Yeah, no, fair points. Kishan, I mean, we've said it that this is probably likely that Zouma will be leaving Chelsea. You kind of said that, look, you wouldn't mind if he stayed as well. I said as well, I don't like, just like Ameya, we wouldn't mind, but he's on the outer. This makes sense. I mean, Jose really likes him, but the whole idea, what Ameya said, these Italian clubs are in the bin at the moment in terms of financially. They want this loan thing, and then they want to buy. Like, man, just buy, mate. Just buy and give us the cash. I'm not even sure, because I think you commented a few weeks back that will probably be around 25 mil. If that's the case, that's ridiculous. I'd want at least 30, man. I think 30 is probably decent for Zouma.
Yeah, I think I said 30 and you were saying, what, Zouma? 35, 40? The way Mourinho said, you don't have to buy, you have Zouma already. So I think with him in that position, I think we're quite happy to keep everyone who's there. But at the same time, it's like we get linked to all these massive stars and the upcoming ones. Like Ameya said, another one we get linked to quite a lot, and I don't like this one, is Jules Koundé. Like, when I watch him, I feel like he's massively overrated. There's some of these players where I've watched and I've just not really got the hype. So it's like him and Upamecano. I've never really understood it because like I watched the highlights of Dortmund against Sevilla, and the striker was supposedly linked to Erling Haaland. He just absolutely destroyed Koundé. Koundé is like what, 5'10", 11?
He ate up Koundé, and Jules, what's his name? Julian Laurence. Laurence. He was in Matisse's channel, and he was saying himself that Jules Koundé was scared that game. Like, he was scared of Erling Haaland. So he was saying if he comes to the Premier League, you're going to see a lot of big boy strikers in the Premier League. So, yeah. And
then another thing is the whole formation thing. So I think this season, I think Tuchel will be a bit more flexible with the system. Maybe he'll try a 4 in pre-season. And then if he decides to play a 4, then all of a sudden Zouma is in more contention than he was previously. And he's got the whole factor of like, he scored 5 league goals for us as well. So I feel like to replace that from centre back when we're not scoring that much, and if we're not, it's going to be quite tough, because some of these goals, they actually help out quite a lot when your strikers aren't scoring
as well. Like, they're on clutch moments. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't he nod in like the winner against Leeds pretty much and stuff like that? So it's like it's going to be hard to replace that. But in terms of an actual centre back, I feel like we can get better. But at the same time, if the price isn't right, we can keep him. Another thing that came out about him is that the whole links to Wolves, where apparently he rejected Wolves, and possibly Everton are in for him as well. So he rejected Wolves, Everton are in for him. But if there was a choice, you'd think that he goes for like the better manager of the 3 and tries out a new league as well, I guess.
Yeah. And look, he's always, there's been a mutual sort of love between Mourinho and Zouma. And he probably, look, he's been fantastic under Frank Lampard in the first season post the lockdown. He was one of the most immense sort of defenders. And then obviously he had that combination with Tomori, which was great as well. And that was sort of disbanded once Rudiger came into the frame. But yeah, of course, once Thomas Tuchel took over, he was always on the outer. And as you said, Kishan, maybe a change of environment somewhere in Italy under Jose Mourinho. He will get a lot of game time. He may just get back to that best level again. And, he could do a madness over there in Roma and in the Italian league as well. And then who knows, maybe Chelsea might be back again, buying him back from Roma for, 60, 70 million pounds. That's just the way we roll. But yeah, Roby is saying, what, you don't even want drink water to go? Mate, trust me, we want drink water to go. The thing is, no one wants him. It's not that we don't want him to go. We definitely do. We've put him into the advertisement section. If you look at the newspapers, he's there. We have put him for sale, but no one is fishing. No one is actually ringing Chelsea to buy this player. That's the issue at the moment. But yeah, that's enough about Zouma. Let's talk about Christian Pulisic. I just want to touch on this incident. I didn't make much of it, but for some reason, there's been a lot of talks going on. I don't know why. I'll go to you, Kishan. This player's got a lot of heat because of juggling the ball when he went for fishing. I don't know how this even became an issue. Like, what's going on in the world these days, man?
Is that the one with that dangerous fish thing?
Yeah, well, that fish was huge. I was actually worried for Pulisic. People are actually worried that that's an animal, putting the animal in danger and what. I'm like, if anything, I think Pulisic was in danger. That fish probably would have eaten him up. Is Kishan there?
I'm not quite sure. I thought my Wi-Fi died for a second.
Am I back now?
You're back, bro. I thought for a second we're like Madame Tussauds, you're just.
So we're talking about Pulisic and the fish, and he is definitely more injury prone than the fish. So you were right to worry about him. But I think that fish was something a bit more dangerous. But again, it's a bit of fun. He came out alive. He had people around him anyway. So I don't know. I mean, people are a bit. I don't know, right? His generation is a bit weird.
What was the backlash all about, Kishan? What is Brent's saying animal activist loves animals more than people. How was he harming the animal?
He didn't harm the animal. Didn't he just jump in the water or something? He fell in the water by mistake.
He fell in the water.
So I don't know. Wait, what's he supposed to do? I don't know where it came from. I don't pay too much attention to it as well. He's alive. He's well. Just keep fit in the season and hopefully get some minutes.
Ameya, what do you make out of that whole incident? I mean, for some reason, social media went berserk and went mental on this guy.
I mean, honestly, I thought initially it started off as a joke, right? Hopefully Pulisic doesn't injure his hamstrings again. That's how it started off, as a joke. But for some reason, people started taking it seriously. And honestly, it baffled me. I don't even know. There is literally nothing to talk about when it comes to that. He is on vacation. He's gone fishing and he's just enjoying his time. He loves football so much that he's kicking the ball even when he's gone fishing. And just let him be, right? I mean, I don't know where the backlash is coming from. In all honesty, you could see Kai Havertz posted a picture with his dog and his girlfriend sitting at the beach as well. There was no backlash for that, was it? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, he's just on vacation. Just let him enjoy. I mean, let him come back fully fit, refreshed for the new season, and I'll be happy. Honestly, there's nothing to talk about here.
Oh, it's just ridiculous, man. This kid, and that's the thing. He's a kid. We forget the fact that he's a kid, and people, whatever he seems to do, they just find something negative about it. And because I remember waking up and I've seen few people tweet and talk about it, and I'm like, what happened? And then I saw the incident. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't really get what is the issue here and going after him. So it's ridiculous. I just wanted to get what you guys think. And obviously I can see, the live chat as well, sort of agreeing with us at the same time. Well, there is someone saying that was animal abuse. I mean, was it really animal abuse? I mean, I do apologize if it was. If there's any people out there that are absolute, animal lovers and whatnot, I do apologize if there was. But here's a comment from Bobby Smoky Signals, which too many beta males in society. The Pulisic story is not a story. There you go. That's exactly how I feel as well. All right, let's talk about this Hakimi thing, which I found very strange. I'll start things off, and then I'll go to you, Ameya. I can't understand how Hakimi would say that. Like, I don't get that. The agent said that Chelsea made a bid, and Hakimi was thrown back because it was Chelsea, as if to say he got scared. I don't understand how a player gets scared. You're linked with the champions of Europe. I can't take that seriously. And I know it's his agent that's saying it, but you just made your player look like a fool. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, I just can't imagine a player saying that. But what's your thoughts, Amir?
I didn't understand what it meant in the first place, right? Because I think the exact words of the agent were, they said that Chelsea were the champions of Europe, which is why he didn't want to join Chelsea or something like that. And I was like, why would you not want to join the best team in Europe? I mean, honestly, I don't understand it. But at the same time, later on in the interview, he also mentioned that, Hakimi dreams of going back to Real Madrid one day and whatnot. So, in a way, and I know you love Hakimi and he's a great player, but in a way, we really dodged the bullet, man. I can't go through another saga of, is he going to go to Real Madrid this summer? Is he going to go to Real Madrid next summer? Or that sort of stuff. So honestly, let him go to PSG, man. He's happy. His wife is happy. And let him go to Real Madrid in another few years, maybe get a couple of UCLs and then let him retire. Hopefully he has a very illustrious career ahead of him. But honestly, that quote, I didn't even understand what it meant the first time I read it. I genuinely had to read it twice or thrice, and then I went through all the comments, and then I'm like, okay, fine, I guess, but I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe was it a sort of mistaken translation or something? Because it still does not make sense.
It has to be a mistake in translation, but you're right, Amir, man. Like, it just didn't make sense, man. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense. And maybe you're right. Maybe we dodged a bullet. But Kishan, what do you make out of those quotes, man? Because a lot of the people off the back of that started saying, like, Chelsea fans started saying, oh, that's Spursy. That's Spursy mentality. We don't want a player like that. But yeah, man, what's your thoughts?
The weird thing is that it came from his agent, and it wasn't anyone else saying it. So it's actually his agent saying this. But again, I think it's a translation error where I highly doubt he'd look at it and say, oh, they're the Champions League winners, I'm not going there. And possibly the other side,
I'm not going there.
The other side is maybe he thinks, and this is a bit of a thing though, but when you win the Champions League, I think what it could possibly be is he doesn't think we could do it again very soon, because when you win one, it's very, like, it's statistically shown. When we won the first one in 2012, it took us so long to, like, get back. So these things are quite rare. Maybe he's looking at it that side, whereas Paris Saint-Germain, he knows them and City are like pushing for that first one still.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain better win it, because they got themselves Sergio Ramos, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Wijnaldum, and they may be adding a couple more. So they're literally, and on top of that, they've already got Neymar and Mbappe. So you better damn win it this time around.
Yeah, that's just my understanding of what it could be. But apart from that, I think with the whole bid going in as well, Miz, it's like half the people were telling us the bid's gone in, and then the other half weren't saying. From my understanding, I think when they say that we matched the bid, I think we matched that opening bid of, like, what, I think it was 57 million or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it went slightly over that, and that is when Paris won. And then with the whole his wife thing and the financial package they offered, we weren't going to copy that. So I'm annoyed. I know you're annoyed, because I really wanted the player, but I guess we just move on and we have to go big with the striker then.
Yeah, man. Look, we were very much vested in this particular player, man. I mean, Amir was, but Kishan and I, we were literally like, when's the announcement? When are we going to do get the drafts out?
I was watching welcome to Chelsea, Hakimi and whatnot. I was building this picture in my head. I thought, oh, imagine him on the break with Timo and whatnot, and then now it's just all gone.
Now you can imagine Adama Traore and the baby oil. So you know what I mean. So maybe that's a consolation. But yeah, I do. It's interesting. The agent saying that there was a bid, so it makes me think. I don't know whether how much. I mean, why is the agent gonna lie, right? Like, I mean, he could lie. Who knows? But if it is true, it makes you wonder about some of the Chelsea in the knows and the Chelsea journalists. I mean, they've literally said that there was no bid, so kind of makes you think, well, what's true out there, what's not? And I've always said it. Whatever it is, whoever is saying it, you gotta understand that no one actually knows the whole story. So you always have to treat it.
Another thing is that what actually constitutes a bid. Like I could speak to an agent and be like, yeah, we can offer you this, but maybe someone saying it wasn't an official bid. Maybe some people take that as an official bid. Yeah, just over the phone. We'll give you 60 million. Like,
is that a bid? I'll take that as a bid.
I think it could also be the exchange stuff, right? Because we could see at the time that PSG were willing to offer straight up cash, while Chelsea were willing to offer like about, I think, 50 million, and then one of Alonso or Emerson, or I think Christensen and all were also there, but that I'm pretty sure that wasn't true. But I think Alonso is one player that Inter are seriously interested in, especially with Simone Inzaghi. I think he would love Alonso as one of his wing backs at his new Inter team. So I think that might have been, the bid.
Yeah. I like this comment here from Ads. Hakimi couldn't handle the competition at Real Madrid. I'm just thinking whether that might have been a bit of I'm going to have to compete against Reece James. That might be a little bit difficult. But we were all saying that Reece James is probably going to be the right centre-back.
Yeah.
I
don't think it is that. Like, when you look at what he did purely I look at it at what he did at Inter, and like Inter he was like the best wing back in the world, so I'm pretty sure if he comes to us he just slots in.
He was competing against Ashley Young though, so he was always going to probably start. I mean, Ashley Young, unless he got scared about Azpilicueta, bro. Do you know what I mean? He got scared of Azpilicueta, a veteran. Look, whatever has happened, it's happened. We move on. But I found those quotes quite strange from his agent, saying Hakimi is a bit of a scaredy cat. That's what he is, a bit of a scaredy cat. All right. Let's talk about Jorginho. I think this is very, very good. It's going to be a juicy topic to talk about. Kishan, I'll go to you first up. Jorginho's agent runs his mouth on a daily basis that, XYZ clubs are looking after for him and so on and so forth. But Jorginho might have said to his agent, mate, just sit down for a little bit. Let me take care of things. And he literally came out and said, I'm not going nowhere. I love being at Chelsea. I still got 2 more seasons to go. And this is what I love the most, what he said. He said, under Thomas Tuchel, we are just getting started. Like, this is exciting. We are just getting started. So I'm not thinking about leaving. Like, forget there's a Premier League to win. Like, I can understand what he's thinking. He's probably thinking there's a Super Cup to win, obviously, Premier League to win, Club World Cup to win. Again, go in the Champions League as deep as possible. And there's some talks, hopefully down the track, there is going to be about contract extension. So I want to hear from you this part first before we talk about the whole Declan Rice and Jorginho and obviously the England matchup soon. But Kishan, this is great to hear from Jorginho himself, the confidence oozing. And once upon a time, there was a situation where he was literally close to going to Arsenal under Frank Lampard last season in the beginning. But man, how it's turned around, it's amazing.
I remember at the time, and I think it was around deadline day, and they were linked to Thomas Partey and Jorginho. And I remember actually thinking, I hope they buy Jorginho from us so they don't buy Partey. That's my honest thinking at the time.
I remember.
It's actually changed so much, and it's like it's crazy because those quotes that he came out and said about Tuchel, we're just getting started. I think he said something similar a few towards the end of the season, where I remember him specifically saying Thomas as well, because that's what he said this time. He said we're only just getting started under Thomas. So it's like I can see why he enjoys playing under this manager and why it feels like the beginning. And if the beginning is like a Champions League, then what can come after?
The World Cup.
we need to win that. But again, it's like, I love how he shut down his agent, because his agent was talking about it all the time. But to be honest, I'm not sure if any Chelsea fan was actually scared of what his agent was saying, because I think we could all tell it was nonsense, and it was just like, just shut up, because it don't really make sense, when the guy is just like one of the best in the world right now. He's just won the Champions League. He could win the Euros. He's in the final. And then to say that he wants to return to Napoli, like now, it don't make sense. Maybe like 2 or 3 years down the line, when he's still old and he can still play there, that's fine. But he's pretty much still in his prime. So like, why would he go back to Napoli? Because if you go back to Napoli, realistically, the maximum you're going to win is a cup.
But Napoli to who, though? Sarri's not even there. Sarri's in Lazio, unless he's going to Lazio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but even that's like another one where you're not going to really win anything. So it's just like, right now, he's enjoying the fact that he's winning anything. If you don't win, we get to finals as well. I think you guys must have seen on Twitter the amount of finals that Jorginho has got. He's got to the final of every competition with us.
Well, Europa League.
At the Super
Champions
Cup,
League,
at the Super Cup soon, and then maybe the Club World Cup.
Carabao Cup as well, right? We went to the final under Sarri.
We lost against City.
FA Cup final, lost against Arsenal. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So we're a very competitive club, and then even if we don't win anything, we're always there or thereabouts, and that's where he needs to stay right now.
Yeah,
no, 100. Ameya, I mean, the blockbuster match, only a few hours away, Italy versus England. Jorginho's Italy, obviously Emerson's there as well. And obviously Declan Rice is another player that, the clashing worlds. Do you know what I mean? This whole thing about Jorginho and Rice, I kind of think that, for me, Jorginho is irreplaceable at the moment for Chelsea. Like, I can't imagine how Thomas Tuchel takes this player out and goes, okay, you're going to be a bench player now for predominantly, for the next season, and we're going to bring Declan Rice. I just can't see how that happens. I think we will still get Declan Rice because, look, the player just wants Chelsea. He wants Chelsea so badly. He's literally a Chelsea player, which is an undercover West Ham sort of jersey that he's wearing at the moment. I could even say he's probably on a loan to West Ham. So, look, the way he talks to all the Chelsea players, the way now we're hearing that Thomas Tuchel also fancies him. So this is inevitable. Whether this happens this season, I don't know. It may happen next season. We'll see. One way or another, he's probably going to come. But how do you picture this final that's coming up between? Obviously, there's other players in England in terms of Mount and Chilwell, the Chelsea players I'm talking about. And, of course, Sterling has been the highlight along with Kane now. But this matchup between Jorginho and Rice, I mean, do you feel if one or the other wins, right? Say if Rice ends up lifting the trophy, all the Rice fans are going to be all after Jorginho. And similarly, if Jorginho lifts the trophy, you just know that the hate this player Rice is going to get unnecessarily, honestly, because I think he's still a very good player in his own merit. But what do you picture what's going to happen in this final?
This is the final showdown, right? I mean, I would have never imagined in 100 years that England versus Italy would be the final of the Euros, and especially now, when there's no club football, both sides, Rice also has some fans in the Chelsea fan base who are like extreme, right? We've spoken about this before as well. Ultras. And then the Jorginho Ultras, we don't even have to talk about them. But, there's no club football at the moment. They're starving. They're all logging onto Twitter and typing all sorts of stuff, whatever they want to. And, tensions are at an all-time high, aren't they? And you have this match to go with it. I mean, honestly, it's like, it's like a blockbuster showdown, and hopefully, both of them have a good game. I mean, we can hope for that. We'll see which team wins at the end of it, but hopefully both of them have a good game. And like you mentioned, Declan Rice, it has to be the worst kept secret in transfer football history, right? I mean, you could say that the Sancho deal was probably comes close, but then that's finally been announced now as well. But our Declan Rice, I mean, it's just inevitable, right? It's just
Give him the
very,
Chelsea
very
jersey,
inevitable.
bro. Just give him the jersey.
I mean,
Let
you
him wear
you
it.
remember that video where he says, "I would love to play in that side" when Mount is
His
mentioning his
five-a-side.
five.
His
Yeah,
five-a-side, yeah.
I mean, it couldn't get more. I mean, he's literally begging for us, and hopefully we do go on and get him this summer, and hopefully they can coexist. And that is what I want our fan base to learn, that it's not one or the other, it's
Yeah, they
one
can
and
coexist.
the other,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And once our fan base learns that, like I have, you will be at peace, is all I want to say. But hopefully we have a good game tonight, because the Copa America, as much as, I loved Messi, to see Messi win the title, it was a little bit of a bore fest, and I mean, it seemed more like an
Bro,
MMA game, didn't
it
it?
was a fight. It was literally
Exactly.
Did you
It was
see
like
that player's ankle? It was bloodied, man. I can't remember which the player was, the Argentinian player. His ankle was full of blood. Like, wow.
Exactly. So honestly, I'm hoping for more of a football game in the night, and it's going to be two very contrasting philosophies. Like you mentioned, Italy, of course, would prefer to play, hold the ball and hold all the possession, but in England, on the other hand, would be willing to play on the counter. So hopefully, let's see how the game goes. But I just hope that Jorginho doesn't get exposed on the counter, because then the Rice fans will have a field day. But at the same time, if the Italy midfield rings around the England midfield, then it's going to be the Jorginho side that's going to pipe up. So hopefully, let's see how it goes. One thing I definitely do not want to happen is for it to go to penalties and Jorginho to step up and take the last one, like it was in the semi-finals.
Bad boy Pickford. Yeah,
Pickford
I was going to
saves
say, bad boy Pickford probably just saves it somehow. I don't know. He's so erratic as a keeper.
Miz, check the comment from Yusuf that says 2012 Chelsea UCL winners, Man City Premier League winners, Italy lost the final.
Yeah, this is another one of those epic sort of flashbacks.
We have to start believing. We have to start believing in these as well.
I don't need to believe in that. I don't need to believe in that.
But Miz, remember what happened with our Champions League? We bought into that. The whole Dubois, he's got a whole thread on them. That's brilliant.
Sacked a young manager, brought in another manager, and then we won. And there was a lot of things. I think there was some games that was sort of coinciding with
when I thought it broke. When I thought it broke though, when we lost the FA Cup, because 2012 we also won the FA Cup. So when we lost that to Leicester, I thought, dead in the bin now. That's gone.
I like this, Kishan. I want you to comment the final sort of thing about this whole England versus Italy. It is, I feel like a lot of the English players, it's the athleticism. You got Sterling's pace, you've got Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice with a lot of athleticism there as well, and brute strength. And from defense to offense, it's all about strength, right? I'm not saying they're stupid. There is brains as well. Like, England's not a stupid team. Do you know what I mean? They're very, very technical.
Yeah.
Like, some of these players play for some top clubs, right? But Italy, on the other side, you can tell it is a lot of it's the intricate passing, the build up, the Mancini, the thing that they do, this. Like, how do you see this panning out, man? Do you feel Italy is going to be wanting to hold the ball a lot more, and England's probably going to be happy to give that? Or do you think England might try and do that trick what Spain did? Really press high, absolutely hustle them as much as they can off the ball, and then try and pin it off them closer to Italy's end, and then hopefully, sneak in a goal. But how do you picture this happening, man?
I think when I look at the past few England games, well, I will exclude the Ukraine one. It's like the first 20 minutes, it seems like none of the teams really have any rhythm. It's like, that's the thing with Italy. I feel like they will always have rhythm because they know each other. It feels like they're almost like a club team, the way they know each other and the way they pass to each other. And everyone else looks disjointed because it feels like with the international players, you don't get as much training every day and stuff. So I feel like Italy are just going to come out and be brilliant on the ball anyway. But it's like England, I feel like will be more disjointed, but it's more about the individual quality where we get the ball to someone really direct, like a Sterling, I think Saka will start to be. I'm not seeing any team news yet, but I think it'll be Sterling and Saka. And I think when you look at, they've got Emerson left back. We know Emerson quite well, and we know he can switch off sometimes. Then you get towards the centre backs, and you'd think this from the start. You'd think Chiellini and Bonucci, they're old and slow, but it just never really works out this way because they're not Man City that'll bring their lineup so slow. Like,
but they know how to defend, bro. They know how to defend. Yeah.
So I think like you're quite right in terms of it will be counter, and we'll have to try and get at players like Jorginho and stuff like that. But when I look at that midfield, like they've got Verratti, Jorginho, Barella, even Locatelli on from the bench. It's just,
That's hot, bro. It's
such a good midfield. But then you got Rice and Phillips, and then Mason Mount dropping in to make it. And we know that from Chelsea, because when we play the two holding midfielders, how important Mason Mount is off the ball. So that's gonna make it a bit more even. And
but then you know what, Kishan? You know what, Kishan, though? The one thing that I haven't really enjoyed from England's side is their pressing. I feel like when Mason Mount for Chelsea, when he presses, it's a unit of Jorginho, Kovacic, or Kante, and everyone sort of presses a unit and eats up the opposition. And Thomas Tuchel has been drilling that, right? Whereas I don't think they press that well with England, man. That's why you see England sort of drop in a lot more, play on the counter a lot more, because they understand that a lot easier. Whether Southgate just hasn't had enough time to play that whole pressing situation with different other personalities. Do you feel like England presses well? Because the way Spain pressed, man, they came the closest to beating Italy, and Italy looked shell-shocked.
I think it's more of like a cultural thing, because you look at some of our players and you got Mason, you got Sterling, and the ones basically at the top clubs under Klopp, Pep, and Tuchel that basically know the pressing. Even someone like Saka, Arteta likes his pressing because he's a Pep. BTEC Pep, isn't he? So it's like that. But then you look at like the other side of our team, and then you got players like Rice who play under David Moyes. So it's a bit different as well. So I think it's like that whole clash. And then you got Kane up front, and I just find him so slow. Like with the press, he's not someone who's gonna be like very effective on the press. And even at the same time, when we steal the ball and we give it to him, it feels like the maximum he can do is like turn, hold someone off, and draw.
That's why he drops deep and he finds those passes for Saka or Sterling.
Yeah, and that's why we need him. But in terms of the whole Rice athleticism thing, I think it's almost like when he plays for England, he's told to do a specific role, and he does that. Whereas for West Ham, when he has a bit more of a license, I think like his passing range, he drives with a Miz. You've seen this. I think it was the Arsenal game where they drew 3-3 from 3-0.
Yeah, that was a banger of a goal.
At 3-3, he went past the whole like Arsenal team, and then he cracked the post. But he literally ran past everyone. He's got that in his locker because he says he watches Yaya Toure and Vieira videos, and he wants to try and implement that. But also another thing is that his long passing. I remember he had this left foot ping over to the top for Felipe Anderson a few seasons ago. Anderson controls it and scores. So like to have a ping with your left foot, that shows technically you're really good, because that was like John Terry kind of stuff where people don't look at this, but to like ping the ball with your left foot is such a technically good thing. So I think he is athletic, and like because he's from England and he knows the league well and stuff. But I think to say he's just athleticism is a bit unfair on him because of what I've seen at West Ham. But if you were watching purely on England, I can see why people are like, we don't really see the hype with this guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man, absolutely. Before we get a quick prediction from both of you guys, I just want to say, Ads is doing a madness in the live chat with some talks about Haaland being announced in a few days. Look, Ads, thank you for the news, but we're going to wait for, either one of the Chelsea guys, Matt Law or Simon Johnson, Athletic, or Fabrizio Romano. All I know about Haaland at the moment is the same old, every single day, remixed by every journalist. Chelsea's interested. He is the first striker. Haaland is interested.
Roman wants him.
Roman wants him. 150 million euros. I mean, it's every day the same thing, one point or the other.
Dortmund don't expect him to leave. They don't want him to leave. But if a bid comes in that's big enough, it'd have to break the bank. Has to be 150. It's just like, gosh.
I got my journalist right here. The boy's already telling you the news live
and
update right there.
The worst is like someone will say new update, and you're like, there's not been a new update since like March, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and then the whole thing, it's going to be a complex deal. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and then the other things, personal terms won't be an issue.
Yeah, personal terms won't be an issue. I mean, we know that's not going to be an issue. We're Chelsea. We're not freaking Crystal Palace. Like, it's going to be an issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know that. Like, anyway, man. I'm over that news. Until I hear something proper, until we hear that there is a bid coming through, I'm not really interested anymore, to be honest. But yeah, Kishan, what were you going to say?
The striker stuff is I heard Matt Law say, was it Matt Law about Lukaku, where like the Lukaku deal is not like dead in the water. So it's like that's another one to still like keep an eye on. And another one is like, you know, with DM we speak about Rice and stuff. I saw like Simon Phillips saying that Boubacar Kamara from Marseille.
We're going to talk about
like,
him. Yeah.
15 million euros.
15 million. Yeah, we're going to talk about him. And perhaps we'll talk about him right now. So you probably saw my list. So, you know, you're cheating. I'm the host.
I didn't see the list. I actually didn't see the
list. But yeah, I like this comment from Roby. Haaland news has made a kitchery out of my brain. If people don't know what a kitchery is, it's a kind of a rice in the subcontinent. And the boys know, I know. I love eating kitchery. But yeah, that's what it means. It's made. Anyway, it's just another form of rice. So maybe we're talking about Declan Rice. I don't know. So yeah, let's move on to the next topic, which is Boubacar Kamara. Ameya, look, I'm going to be honest. I have not watched a single bit of this player. I only got to know this player literally a few days ago. I don't watch Liga. Definitely don't follow Marseille. But apparently he's a good player. He's a very, very decent DM. And apparently he's actually Thomas Tuchel's, after Declan Rice, he's the one he wants as opposed to Tchouaméni. Obviously, lots of talks about Tchouaméni, but Boubacar Kamara is in his list. There's a lot of scouting that happens in that particular league. There's a lot of, good talents out there, along with the Bakayokos. So got to be very, very careful how you pick and choose over there. But what do you know about Boubacar Kamara, man? Apparently, Marseille needs to get rid of a lot of players because they have bought a lot of incomings that have come in. And their issue is they're not getting any offers for Boubacar Kamara. So, yeah, what's your thoughts, man?
It's actually very interesting because, 15 million euros, that's nothing. Like, even the poorest team in the Premier League can cough up that much, right? So, honestly, I'm quite surprised that there's no bids for Boubacar Kamara because he's actually a very decent player. I know this seems like a little bit of a weird comparison, but I think Tuchel wants another Marquinhos at Chelsea, right? Which is why he's going so much for Declan Rice, who can play fit in as a DM, also as a centre-back. Boubacar Kamara is another player who's played DM as well as centre-back for Marseille. On the other hand, Tchouaméni has never played centre-back. It's always been in midfield, right? He's either a 6 or an 8 in midfield, either in a pivot or as the lone DM, but he's never played centre back. So I think this could be, sort of the signing that Tuchel is looking for, plug two gaps with one signing, right? If we get rid of maybe Zouma and get Boubacar Kamara in for that matter, then we can have a DM, a makeshift DM, and he can play as a centre back as well. So it could be a 2-in-1 deal. But at the same time, it's a little bit concerning that no one else has made a bid. I would genuinely expect loads of clubs could easily benefit from his signing because he's so young as well. And I see this as a very low risk deal, in my opinion, especially if we fail to land Declan Rice this summer. And I think Tchouaméni as well, there's been rumors that he's probably going to stick around for another season.
And they're in the Champions League, so...
Yep. So he could prove himself there as well. So I think with Tchouaméni not leaving, and if we can't get West Ham to reduce their price for Declan Rice, then I think he could be sort of a cut price deal because at that price, right? Even if he fails massively, we could still recoup like more than what we've paid for him next season, maybe, or make him a part of our loan army. That's another option. Or there's a lot of options that we have on our plate if we do make that signing, and maybe we can go for Declan Rice or Tchouaméni next summer, right? If Kamara works out, great, fantastic cut price deal, bargain for us in the market. If he doesn't, then move him on for a profit, and then sign Declan Rice or Tchouaméni next summer, when we already have a striker at the club, which, as we know, is our first priority at the moment. So it does seem like that kind of a deal. But if the asking price really is that low, then I could see a lot of other clubs, sort of swooping in. So maybe if we do if Thomas Tuchel Tuchel really wants him, then we should really be testing the waters right away and not wait for it to, sort of become like a bidding war, and then maybe the price goes up later if there's too many options.
I mean, Kishan, 15 million, I think that's euros as well. I don't know if that's pounds. So this day and age, who is even sold for that amount of money? Like, do you know what I mean? For me, as Ameya said, it seems like a low risk sort of situation. If we don't get Rice this particular window, which seems to be, honestly, I don't see how it happens, man. He's got 4 years still left in his contract with West Ham. Like, West Ham are in complete control. They're in complete control. And West Ham has said, we're looking at something around 80 million pounds. And rightly so. They believe he's a mega asset for them. So, there's Manchester United that's after him. Apparently there was City. Pep Guardiola speaks highly of Rice as well. Chelsea definitely after him. So I can understand. And there's no way probably Chelsea meets that particular 80 million, the price at the moment. So for you, Boubacar Kamara, I don't know. Like, have you seen much of him? Have you seen much of Marseille? 15 million. What do you think?
For me, with these types of players, even Chouameni, the only way I'd really watch them is through YouTube highlights. So, like, for me, Chouameni and Kamara is
that means you're an expert. You're an expert.
I know everything about Kamara. Ask me. And it's like, but the whole thing around him is why he's 15 million euros. I think is because of this whole contract situation where next year, I think it runs out next year, and he's not signing one and all that kind of stuff. So at 21, he seems like another thing I think why we're linked so much is because Tuchel was at Paris Saint-Germain, so he's seen all these guys play against him and stuff like that. So if he's taken a liking to him, I think he must have looked at him and thought, "Yo, this guy, he could be my new Marquinhos or something." That's why I think France in the French league seem to have like an abundance of like CDM/CMs right now with like him, Chouameni. They got that Soumare that went to Leicester, Camavinga as well. It just seemed to have like a lot of those kind of players and at good prices. So I think if we get him, like Ameya said, it's low risk. But I still think with the kind of fan base we've got, we'd be underwhelmed because we don't really know the guy, and it wouldn't really stop the whole Declan Rice talk or anything. But in terms of just pure financially, and if Tuchel thinks this guy's the right quality as well, it seems like a quite no-brainer, to be honest.
Look, I don't mind sometimes some of these sort of bargain sort of picks where it could turn out to be a mega player. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing is when like someone like Leicester does it, we look at it and we're like, oh, that's so good business. Why didn't we think of it? But it's like we just never like it comes to when we're linked with these kind of players and we'll be like, come on, man, we're the European champions. We can't buy
give us
this
the Haaland, man. The 150 million. Yeah. That's what we deal with.
Whereas Leicester, you see Leicester, they bought Zouma and they bought Daka. I will not be surprised at all if Daka turns out to be one of the best in the league.
I was going to say, Daka, if he becomes a huge hit off the back of this new season, which he probably could, watch how everyone goes in on Daka, and he'll be the next Haaland. Oh, we need to get him now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the player that we need. Yeah, so, you're right. Well, why can't Chelsea get in there first? So hopefully Boubacar Kamara is in that particular stature. Live chat, let us know what you think about Boubacar Kamara. I mean, we don't know much about you guys. There are a lot of people I know in this live chat that watches a hell of a lot of different leagues, and you guys are very smart. So why don't you guys let us know? Maybe I can pull out some of the comments as well. Meanwhile, while we do that, we've got 80 people. At one stage, we had 90. Let's get the likes up to at least 80 likes, guys. As I said, helps out the channel a lot, helps out the video a lot as well, exposes to more fans out there. We're on the race to go to 6,000 subscribers, which is going to be brilliant. We're all sort of part of this whole channel. You guys get to come on the channel at times as well. So it's pretty much your channel as well, to be honest. So yeah, we'll grow together. So let's get those likes up to at least 80 likes. So take a moment now and just, it's a simple click. That's what it is. But yeah, let me see if I can, till the guys pull out some information about Boubacar Kamara. Yeah, all right. I'll wait for you guys to give us some comments there. But meanwhile, let's talk about the training. Ameya, the Chelsea boys are back in training. We saw this week already Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, and Anjorin, they're back. I want to talk about one particular moment where I saw Tammy hugging Thomas Tuchel like they've been playing and they've got such a great combination together. They understand each other really well. He's his striker, the movement and everything, the 30 goals of, I don't know, like they seem like they've just get along all the time, where in essence, Tammy never even gets minutes. So what do you think about that whole sort of little clip that you saw? I mean, do you think at the end of the day, there's probably no animosity? It's just maybe mutual, that they both understand that Thomas Tuchel's probably got no plans for Tammy, and Tammy understands it as well, and they'll probably part ways. But at the same time, there's no need to be angry with each other. It is what it is. He's back at training. He's doing what he has to do because he still gets paid by Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts about that little clip that you saw? Did you ever get a sort of thought in your mind that, is Tammy actually staying?
I think it's beyond repair, to be honest. I mean, I can understand that Thomas Tuchel doesn't rate him, but he wasn't even on the bench for the Champions League final. That was the final nail in the coffin for me, honestly. I don't see how he can come back into the team from that. I mean, it might be just be overreacting, but I mean, he was, of course, there in his full kit to take trophy pictures. I mean, true that, but he wasn't on the bench for that game, right? Official bench, he wasn't there on it. So
he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
So I think that's a little I think it's a little bit beyond repair. I think they both understand that probably Tammy's working hard for at his new destination, maybe wherever he goes this summer, probably West Ham or Aston Villa. Those two are the most likely destinations as of now. But at the same time, I think Tammy knows that Chelsea are not going to let him go on a cheap, right? Even though it's probably better for all parties to part way at this moment. At the same time, Chelsea's not going to be forced into selling at a cheap, so they're definitely going to be waiting to see how our striker situation in the transfer market resolves before making a final decision, in my opinion. And even after that, I would easily see, I think we've talked about this before, 35 to 40 million. I think unless a bid of around that region comes in for Tammy, there's no way we're going to sell him. And I think that he accepts that, and he's like, what, fine, I'll just keep my head down and keep working, and we'll see how it goes. And I think that's fantastic attitude, right? It doesn't always have to turn out like drink water, where he or refuses to come to training and then badmouths his manager to the press. I think they know what's going on, and Tammy accepts that. And Thomas Tuchel also probably made himself very clear. He doesn't look like the guy who sort of says one thing and does the other. He's been pretty confident on Tammy, saying from the beginning that he's got to work harder in training, and that I decide my teams in training. And Tammy hasn't been getting minutes likewise. So I think at the end of the day, it's mutual. That clip, it was heartwarming. Yes, I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, I think it's beyond repair at this point.
Nah, fairs, man. Jules, he's saying Thomas is just amazing with man management. I think the whole idea is if we do not get a suitable striker, then Tammy stays. I mean, Kishan, do you buy into this particular comment?
Miss, who did you say the comment was from?
Yeah, his name's Jules, bro. It's not XXX. I mean, it's Jules.
I was thinking, say it, Miss.
But by the way, Jules, can you change that name, bro? You're not Sex, bro. Come on, just change it to Jules. We all know you're Jules, bro. Unless you want to be called Sex. I mean, I don't mind. Whatever makes you happy, man. Kishan, I mean, Fabrizio Romano said in recent times that Chelsea's 100% getting a striker. Whether that's Haaland or Lukaku, we don't know. Maybe it's Danny Ings. I don't know. But we're getting a striker. We're definitely getting a striker. But do you sort of agree with this from Jules at all, that if we don't get anyone, Tammy stays, or you agree with what Amir was saying, that this is finished, beyond repairable?
The thing is, even if he stays, you got to remember that this squad is exactly how it was in the Champions League or during last season, and he wasn't getting minutes when this squad was exactly the same. So I don't think it makes a difference to Tammy if we sign a striker or we don't sign. Actually, you could say Giroud's leaving, but even I still don't think Giroud got enough minutes to warrant Tammy still won't get any minutes, I think. And it's I just think there's no point. I think it's beyond repair. I didn't think it was actually PR. I think they've still got a good relationship. I just think he just understands that I'm not for this guy. And I think Ameya was saying,
do you think that's so tough for a player to take? Imagine Tammy getting that information from Tuchel saying, "You're not doing this, you're not doing that." I'm sure Tammy would have said, "But Gaffer, like, give me a chance. Like, I'll develop that." Or does he say that I can't develop that? Let me leave. I can't imagine him saying that.
I very much doubt he said, "Nah, I can't develop that. I'm not even going to try. I'm off." But
I can't do that movement. I'm not doing that. No, that's not how I press. I can't press like that.
Too much running for me. The defender's too strong. I'm not going to bump into him. I'm off. I don't want my head on that ball. I think it's one of them. I think it's beyond repair, but we must get 40. I don't even want 35. It has to be 40. Yeah. When you look at how many goals he'd get for one, I can just see him in the claret and blue shirt. It's either Villa or West Ham for me. I can't see him.
Right, he'll bang in goals. He'll bang in goals.
He will bang because you got to remember he did score 15 for us in his first season, and he wasn't even on penalties. So he can easily be around a 20 goal a season striker. And it's weird because when we talk about buying a striker, we always say we need that 20 goal a season guy. But it's just that in specific games, he doesn't provide like certain things we need. And fair enough, because again, right now, I'm not against like having the guy in our squad and like having him on the bench, even if we wanted to keep him. Like, that's fine with me. The problem is just if we're saying that he's our first choice striker, then there's too many elements of his game that are missing, and that's why ultimately he'll have to go. And the reason he'll have to go is because he does want to be a first choice somewhere else. So fair play, let him go.
I do want to talk about another player. I don't want to talk too much about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think it's well documented. He's staying, and we will need to use him next season. We've talked about him. But Tina Anjorin, Ameya, I mean, this is a strange sort of situation once again where obviously he's going to be part of the preseason, which, it was everyone kind of expected that. And I want to see exactly how he does in the preseason, obviously. But I don't want to see where, like last season, where he's part of the first squad but barely plays much, got some game times in Champions League, some game times in FA Cup, I believe, or Carabao Cup. I mean, I don't think he even barely got any minutes in the Premier League. Maybe he might have came off the bench 1 or 2 games here and there. But I would like to see this guy now go on a loan and really kill it, because I feel like he gives me the Ruben Loftus-Cheek sort of vibe, that stature, that physique. Hopefully he doesn't have the injuries sort of issues that Ruben's had. But I want to see him on a loan, whether it be a championship loan. Maybe he's too good for championship. I don't know. Maybe a Premier League. But it's going to be massive for a Premier League club to give him game time week in, week out. I mean, Premier League clubs are not like, Mickey Mouse clubs. Like, even the one that gets relegated and comes last is not a Mickey Mouse club. But what do you think about Anjorin, man?
I think a loan deal is a must for him because honestly, at this stage of his career, he needs the game time, right? Even if it is probably at a slightly lower level than he deserves, he needs regular game time for his development. And I think a loan definitely would be the best option. I wouldn't be too surprised if it's one of the top championship clubs, probably the ones contending for promotion. I mean, easily not, definitely not below the championship for sure. That's for sure. But at the same time, a pretty decent club. Premier League, I think, is a step too far. I mean, you look at the quality of players that go to loan in the Premier League, right? I mean, last season we had Loftus-Cheek, who was one of our mainstays in the previous season. Then Conor Gallagher absolutely smashed it in the championship last season, and Ampadu was on loan at Leipzig, and then they were relegated, right, respectively. And this season, you've seen Billy Gilmour go to Norwich, who are probably one of the candidates to get relegated. And Billy Gilmour almost broke into the first team last season under Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he played against Man City and whatnot, right? So he is definitely, he was a sort of, he wasn't entirely a bench player, right? He would definitely get some more minutes. On the other hand, Anjorin, like you mentioned, unless we're playing like 3rd division or 4th division opponents in the Carabao Cup, or playing like a dead rubber game against Krasnodar, unless it's one of those games, he's not going to get minutes. And I think he really needs that in his career. So I think a loan move would probably be wise for him. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised maybe if he goes to Vitesse for a season as well, where we send all of our academy boys. So let's see how this one unfolds, but it has to be the right choice, and hopefully we do make it so that it doesn't hamper his growth.
Yeah, man. Kishan, your thoughts on Anjorin? I mean, he does give me good vibes. Like I feel like there's going to be a serious player there, but you need to go somewhere and play first, mate. Like you need to develop, obviously. But what would your solution be to this one?
Yeah, good vibes. And another thing is, when Tuchel came in, he said, I didn't really know too much about Tino Anjorin, but since he's been training with us, he's really impressed me and stuff like that. So I think he's got everything. And you know, some players, when they're at that age, they don't look physically ready for the Premier League. He is someone that even at like 18, he looked like he was ready. You could put him into a game, and physically he looks like he can hold his own. So I agree with Ameya. Like the championship loan is definite for me, because if you look at the kind of minutes he'd get, with how bloated I expect this squad to be, Ameya, I don't even think sometimes he'd even get those like pity minutes against like Grimsby at home and stuff. I think it'd be really hard for him to get any minutes at all. So it's like, if he's coming on for like 4 odd minutes, there's no point where he can go to somewhere. He looks like a typical Bournemouth player. I can imagine him in the kit. I've seen so many players like that, Lamina and them guys. Stick him in the Bournemouth kit.
You must have done like an edit. You must have done like a Bournemouth edit with teenagers.
Other day, I saw a pic of 3 lads from Love Island, and they go, these guys could easily play for Bournemouth. So I'm thinking Anjorin could definitely fit in that. Anjorin definitely fits in that as well.
That's funny, I think, bro.
In terms of that, in terms of getting really meaningful minutes, he has to go.
Yeah, no, fair points. Some of the live chat saying, Miz, why are you blocking me? I'm not blocking anyone. I don't know what's going on. I've literally got a few of the mods there. Pratik is there. Aspian is there.
Did Anjorin get a Champions League winning medal?
Yep, he did.
He must have, because he played in the Champions League.
Yep, and he was on the bench for the final as well.
Yeah, so he was. Can you imagine?
Exactly. You know where I went with that, Tammy. You know what I mentioned that time. It's beyond repair.
Yeah. No, I mean, when Anjorin gets a medal, and I'm sure Tammy did as well, but when he's in the final in the bench and Tammy is not, that is telling you that it's time to leave. But it's crazy, man. Anjorin, how old is he, man? 18, 19 max? Yep. Already a Champions League 19, winner? Like, what do you go after that? You might as well retire. Like, what's next? Do you know what I mean? It's insane. Maybe you start again. It's like starting a career mode in FIFA. Like, go to a bottom, table and then wake yourself up. Yeah, I used to do that.
One thing about FIFA, EA Sports are mocking the whole Rice versus Jorginho thing as well. Did you see it?
Yeah, really?
The ultimate team.
They put these cards out, and it's Rice and Jorginho. So you complete this task and you pick one of the two, and then whoever wins the game gets like a boost of like +3 or whatever. and they made the 2 players Rice and Jorginho.
Bro, they know what the people are thinking. So it is what it is. I'm just looking at some of the ads. Ads is still talking about the Haaland news. Ads, look, as I said, just. I'm not gonna do that until I see official people do. Like
the thing is, ads is as official. Ads is as official as they come. So we should start buying into the Haaland stuff.
Ads, I do appreciate you giving the news, that Haaland stuff. But I'm just I don't know. You gave me a particular at some guy's name, but like until it's Fabrizio, Matt Law, some of the Chelsea people basically that run it. Or even the German stuff, like, I suppose Christian Falk, as much as I don't rate him, but for German stuff, like, he knows these things over there. So anyone else after that, like, it is what it is. It could come true, but I'm not gonna run around and start promoting that kind of stuff. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna now talk about the final bit. We're gonna come very close to finishing off the show. We've still got over 70 people. Please, let's smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to at least 70 likes, guys. As I said, it helps out the channel. Check out my panelists and their socials in the description. Amir with his YouTube channel, and obviously Kishan's got his Twitter handle there, so go and follow. Boys, before we talk just quickly about the Messi, which is an interesting sort of lovely romantic sort of news over there, I want to get your quick prediction on the Euros, because we didn't get that. Kishan, what's your prediction, my man?
very low scoring for me. I can't see, because you got to remember these two teams defensively are brilliant. It's either, for me, like, I am England, so I'm going to say 1-0 England or 1-1 and penalties, and then whatever happens.
Bro, penalties. I
Bro,
think Italy.
penalties.
Donnarumma's not going to stop. Like, he's going to stop everyone. Do you know what I mean?
He's massive. And then the worst thing is, you got Harry Kane. I'd put this house on Harry Kane to score a penalty. Yeah, and that was a boring penalty I've seen against Denmark. So if that was in a shootout, that's a miss. So
I gotta say though, just quickly on the side note, Kasper Schmeichel. I don't know why we haven't ever talked, but off the back of that match, I was just thinking, man, this guy's one of the better goalkeepers in the Premier League. Like, he really is. He doesn't get talked enough about. Like, he would be as in one of the top keepers in the Premier League. I would have to say Kasper Schmeichel.
I'd say top. Miz, the thing is, like, when you look at the top Premier League goalkeepers, I think a lot of them come from the lesser clubs compared to the big teams. Like, there's something about Alisson, Edison that doesn't quite convince me to the level of, like, I don't know. Whereas when I look at someone like Emi Martinez and Casper, there's something about them where they just, because Emi just won the Copa America yesterday as well. So he's a brilliant. I think he'll be.
And clean sheet, yet another clean sheet for Emi Martinez. Do you know what I mean? They've been racking up the clean sheets over there. Then he did a madness against Colombia where he was absolutely mouthing off the players when they were taking the penalties. He was literally apparently telling the players, "I know where you're going to hit it, so let's just hit it so I can save it."
It properly doesn't suit his character, because he seems like this proper nice guy, had this humble story, and then the penalty shootout, he's like, "You're shit, I know where you're going."
He was literally apparently saying, "You are rubbish, I know where you're going to hit it, so hit it, I'm going to save it." Like, do you know what I mean? It's insane. But yeah, Kasper Schmeichel, man, I think he deserves a lot more respect, man. Ameya, what's your score prediction, man?
I'm going to go for a 2-1, but I don't know for who it's going to be. Honestly, guys, I genuinely don't know who's going to win this one.
For Germany.
I think it's going to be a very, very close game. Yeah, I would say Italy, but at the same time, I know that England, possess the exact tools that you need to break down the Italy defense, right? And they have the pace, and they can easily cut through their midfield as well, with the pace of Sterling, and especially if Saka starts on the other side as well. So I think that they have the tools, right? But should they implement it, then I think they could come out victorious. But at the same time, they've got to remain solid at the back as well.
Here's my prediction. From the matches I've seen of England and Italy, of course, I feel with the midfield of Jorginho, Verratti, and Barella, England's pretty much going to say, "You're superior in that. We get that, and we appreciate that. You have the ball." What England's going to do is they're going to have a solid back line, which they've had recently with Stones and Harry Maguire, Kyle Walker, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, and Calvin Phillips. They're going to lock things down. They're not going to allow players like Chiesa and Insigne and whoever else.
He's brilliant.
Chiesa's mad, bro. He's mad. Apparently Liverpool's after him. He will do madness over there if Liverpool.
He won't go.
He won't leave Juventus for sure.
He can't. Yeah. If he was,
some of these Italian players, they don't leave. Yeah, they don't leave, bro. So anyway, but if they do get him, unbelievable. Anyway, so I think with Italy, they will find it difficult to break that open. In my head, that's what I'm thinking, unless Barella and Jorginho and Verratti do find those threaded passes. So England's going to try and stick deep, and they're going to try and the counter and hit with Sterling and Saka. And then hopefully, like Kane will stay in the middle and try and see if he can get the cutback. Look, I'm hoping for an Italy win, but I feel like England's going to win, man. I just feel like...
I think it just looks like it's... Yeah, it looks like it's written in the stars, isn't it? Especially with Messi winning his first international title a few hours ago, and then now England going to win it for the first time. I just think it's meant to happen, I think.
You know what, Ameya? I'm the kind of guy... I'm a believer of gut feeling. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Honestly, I had a gut feeling that we were going to win the Champions League. I just felt that we're going to win it.
Yeah.
I also had a gut feeling that we're going to somehow screw it up a little bit against Leicester in the FA Cup. I just had that moving into it because our form moving into that, I just didn't like it, man. I just did not like it. But then we won against Leicester. Obviously, we didn't finish that well against Aston Villa. But then come the final, I just felt, you know what? I think we can do. Similarly now, as much as Italy, they look like, far superior in the sense of the possession-based football, but you can't disregard what England has been doing. They're lethal, man. England's lethal team, man. They're clinical. They'll finish things off. And I just have this gut feeling that England's going to win. As much as I hate it, I wish I never had this gut feeling because I don't want England to win.
Another thing is set pieces as well, because Maguire seems to get his head on everything. Any ball that goes into the box.
How good is his defending, man? You have to appreciate the way England's only conceded 1 goal in this whole tournament, and that was off a free kick.
I don't know if I've ever, how Maguire gets his whole hate for this 80 million stuff, and I don't think I've ever said anything against him, because I think when you look at someone of his quality, he's up there in terms of the best, around the best in the league. He's right up there. You have to be honest.
You know what? It's the price. It's the 80 million price tag. Do you know what I mean? Had he been like 40 or 30 million, everyone would be like, oh my God, what a defender for Man United, because of that price. Look, I'm not going to lie. There have been times where he's looked silly, but in all honesty, if you look at the overall game, he's a solid defender, man. He is a solid defender. He was excellent for Leicester. Let's not fool around about that. And before Leicester, wasn't he at
Hull City?
Hull City. He was good at Hull City as well. He was very good at Hull City, and then obviously got that Leicester chance. He was very good at Leicester. And then, for England, look, he's fantastic. So it's one of those cases where another one of these players that just, doesn't. You know who's really, really surprised me, boys? Luke Shaw. It's one player that I did not rate that much, but I've watched a few England games.
He was the best left back in the league last season.
I
know, but you know what, Ameya? I did not buy it. For some reason, I always thought it was Chilwell. And maybe that's the Chelsea in me, because I only get to watch Chelsea matches, to be honest. I don't really get to watch too many of other Premier Leagues. But I watched quite a few of England games. Man, I completely get now the whole thing around why Luke Shaw is touted as the best left back in the Premier League. Man, he's damn good, man. He actually is. He really is, man. All right, the final thing before we wrap things up. Guys, we've still got over 80 people. Let's smash that like button. Come on, guys. Let's get to 80 likes. Help the channel out. Ameya, let's talk a little bit. Obviously, we've got a really good video coming out, so I don't want to give out too much information. We've got a little bit of a tribute thing happening for Messi. So do look out for that down the track on this channel. Put the notifications on. But Ameya, it was such a good feeling to see, Messi win the Copa America. I mean, I've always said that he needed to win that international trophy. And it's not that he needed to win to prove anything that he's, one of the greatest of all time. I still think both Ronaldo and Messi are like sensational. I mean, they're both right. Do you know what I mean? Both have done madness. But I just felt that had he just ticked off that international box, it'll just make him, a complete sort of scenario. I mean, what do you feel about, knowing, I don't know whether you watched the match or not, but at least knowing you did watch it. So how do you feel after, the whole nation, the whole teammates ran straight to him? I felt so good, man. That was so nice to see.
It was great to see. I mean, honestly, as soon as the final whistle went down, the first thing, he fell on the floor and he was on tears, right? Yeah. And everyone else, all the other teammates, instead of running off and celebrating or falling on the floor themselves, they all ran to Messi, right? So that was really great to see. And, they proved it, really. I think a lot of the players, they're talking to the media, especially Rodrigo de Paul. I think he said that I'd go to war for Messi or something like that. And he genuinely did today. So honestly, hats off to him, and hats off to Messi for finally getting his hands on the international trophy, because it was, I mean, he, in my opinion, at least, he is the greatest of all time. Slightly edges it over Ronaldo, just at least in my opinion. But, Ronaldo always had that one international trophy in front of him, right? And although it's not a World Cup, but he still had an international trophy, which Messi didn't. So I think, after all the heartbreaks that Messi's had to face over his entire international career, especially that 2014 World Cup as well,
I love that World Cup. Germany won. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But after all that, finally, I think this was his 5th international final, and then he finally got to win. So the curse is broken. So I'm, delighted for him, honestly, and hopefully that cements his place as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Kishan, I mean, you're one of those Messi fanboys or Ronaldo, or you appreciate both. I mean, how do you feel to see Messi, lift an international trophy?
I'm not. I can't really say I'm a fanboy of either, but it's like I appreciate both, but Messi is always better for me. And like it's like Ronaldo can do what he wants, and like I'd probably say that Ronaldo's had the better career, like in terms of like showing up in certain moments and stuff. But in terms of an actual player, it's like this guy is an alien compared to Ronaldo. Ronaldo is like a somewhat normal player with amazing statistics, and Messi is just an insane creature. So it's like it's always been Messi for me, and it's great to see him because there was always that thing in the debate. I don't really care too much for the debates, but Ronaldo always had that over Messi, that he's got the international trophy, and I feel like after all this time, it's come very late, and he probably should have done a lot more. And it's not a World Cup, but it doesn't matter because it's still the Copa America, and to win it finally after failing that many times shows how hard it is to do. Because I think in Europe we have this perception that the Euros is like the best, and then that everything else is a bit of Mickey Mousey, but it's not. Like in terms of the Copa America, there's some brilliant teams in there, so it's like and you beat Brazil in the final. So
bro, it's a brutal competition. Like I've seen a couple of the Copa America because it's in good time with Australia. Bro, they fight over there, man. They really fight. Like some of the tackles are crunching. I was worried for Thiago Silva that he doesn't get injured. I literally was. But Thiago Silva is so calm and collected, man. He's so calm and collected. He doesn't even engage in that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, it's just too
unless
swagger.
Unless it's Daniel Amati after he threw unless
it's Daniel Amati. But the whole thing about this Messi thing is that this Argentina team is actually quite good. So if Messi continues for one more year for the next year's World Cup, I think is still fit enough to do that. They could have an opportunity.
I really like that midfield of
Rodrigo de Paul is unbelievable, man. I can't believe how all the other European teams have missed out on a player like this. He's going to Atletico Madrid for 35 million euros. I'm telling you, he's going to kill it, man. I've watched quite a few of the Argentina games. Oh my God, he's so good. And it was his ball that set up Di Maria from deep. Like that was a sensational pass.
He's very close to going to Leeds, wasn't he, last season?
Yeah. My days, Leeds. Whoever their scouting thing is, please give him to Chelsea. I mean, they do find some proper ballers over there, man. I love watching Leeds as well, man, honestly. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it all up. Thank you so much for being here. I do understand it's a Sunday. Obviously, big Euros game coming up, so go out there and enjoy that. And as I said, before you go, hit the like button, get the likes up to at least 80 likes. And check out the boys and their socials in the description. Hope you've enjoyed this show. Do look out for two things. One, there will be a Messi sort of tribute video that's going to be coming up. Ameya will be there. I'm going to be there. A couple other guys. It'll be a short video. It won't be a live stream or anything like that. So do look out for that. I'll probably drop somewhere tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about the whole Messi thing because I think, I want the channel to sort of appreciate what Messi's done, even though I'm a massive Ronaldo fan. But, at the end of the day, Messi deserves the praise. But also look out for the review of the Euros final straight after the game. I will be doing a review, so it'll be exciting to see what happens there. So, until next time, everyone, take care.
It's coming home.
Nah, coming home.